In this overview, we're going to cover the revenue cycle summary page. By default, every single time that we navigate to the billing portal in the lower left-hand corner, the first screen that we'll be entering is this revenue cycle summary page. This is essentially where all of your AR, no matter where a claim is, statements, anything pertaining to the AR is always 100% of the time going to be visible in different buckets of the revenue cycle process. This is a 100% workable queue that filters based off of what we want to see within the AR process in the revenue cycle wheel. Up at the top here, we'll see current day's activities. So for anything that's kind of happened throughout the course of the day, we'll see a high-level dashboard that we can see exactly what has happened and come in and occurred during the day. In addition to this, we can see any submissions, any ERA deposits, payer deposits, or receipts that are kind of open in our bucket. Down below, we can keep a running tab on key performance indicators that I care about within my practice. You'll see some different options that we can choose to turn on or turn off. We can turn on charges. Maybe I want to see payments and adjustments. I can turn different things on and off and run it by different items depending on what I'd like to see. Additionally, we can go to a pop-up menu of KPIs here if we want to see a larger, a little bit more interactive version of what we want to see in a breakout. So we have the option to do charges, payments and adjustments. We can set up different filters and have a little bit of a larger view here that we can work off of. Over on the right-hand side here, we have an additional chart context menu, which just allows us to go ahead and print maybe the AR chart that we have at the bottom or download the images for it. The revenue cycle, before we dive into what each of these buckets kind of allows us to do, in the upper right-hand corner, you'll also notice an additional drop-down menu where we can view some additional items, such as maybe we want to see a more advanced view here of the AR breakdown. We have some items on the left-hand side, filters that we can see at a very high level. And this is more of an advanced view. These can be clicked on to expand or shrink them. And then I can toggle back to the revenue cycle wheel. We also have a metrics option, but I'm going to go ahead and skip over that for now. Anytime that we've navigated on the left-hand side of the page away from this revenue cycle wheel, maybe we're working in a queue or working through reports, up at the top, you'll notice this little circle that looks just like the revenue cycle wheel. That's how we'll always be able to navigate back home to this revenue cycle summary. Within these buckets here, we have the ability to click directly on any one of these to expand and drill down into these. In the prepare section, if I click directly on this, this is for claims that are ready for processing, maybe statements. We can see anything that's holding these up, if they're ready to be submitted, so on and so forth. I can see right off the bat there are probably appointments that are missing claims. I can always view those. Any one of these points here, though, if I click directly on the magnifying glass, I'd see all claims that are missing data. It'll run a billing query and show me all of those claims. However, I can additionally drop down here, anywhere where that we have these drop down arrows, and see more specific items related to that. So I can now see additional, more laser-focused, drilled down details on claims that are missing specific information. So now I can actually look at the 18 claims that are within this 155 bucket that are just missing responsible parties. This helps us catch a lot of the front-end errors on data capture prior to submitting a claim. In addition, we also have this ready for processing. This will show us anything that's ready to go out. If it's statements, if it's paper claims, electronic claims, anything that is in a claim status will show in here if it's ready for processing. In addition, you'll notice down here on the lower left-hand corner, if I like to see these as counts, I can view these as counts. If I would like to see this as a dollar amount, I can uncheck this, and this will show me the claim dollar amounts on each area. This is also 100% exportable to Excel. In the Submit section, this is where we can keep track of any submissions that we want to keep track of. This is interactive as well. If I click on this, I'd be able to see where all of my submissions are in the process. Ones that are pending, ones that are error submissions. Any submissions that we've done are viewable directly through here. Again, we have the option for counts or dollar amounts as well. The Manage section, this is where we're really going to be able to drill down and see, okay, where are these claims at right now in statuses? So we'll see some of our default ones will pop up here automatically. Practice custom defined statuses, we can choose what we want to show in here. And here we can see some practice defined statuses that'll drop in here. Also, any claims that are in process, maybe in a step 1, step 2, step 3 process, wherever they are, will additionally show here because we want to make sure that you have 100% visibility into where every single claim is and where your AR is at and where you can attack and work this queue. Finally, the no response after 7 days. This is something that for you as a practice, there's a user setting that we'll touch on in just a minute that you can actually take a look at and determine, do we want to make sure we're following up every 7 days or 14 days, 20 days, whatever you feel is appropriate can be set from here. The post, these are payments that are ready for posting. This is receipts and payments, again a filterable list. In the collect portion, this is essentially aging. So we can see it by aging, by patient, or by insurance. Again, as a reminder, anytime that we click this magnifying glass, this will run a billing query and show us all the claims in there as a workable queue. The final thing that I want to show us here is if I right-click on this screen, we'll see a user settings. This is what I was referring to when I said that a practice has the ability to determine no response after however many days, how often do we need to follow up on this? There's some other things that we can do as well. Within the user settings here, this is going to control my billing wheel. So you can see down below here, I can turn on and turn off certain settings, but more importantly, we can go to advanced settings, metrics settings, and this all helps me on my user. The revenue cycle settings affects that revenue cycle wheel. And I can go ahead and set different parameters based off of what I want to see within here. I can also set my defaults if I want to see claim balances or claim counts in different sections. As well as down here below, you see under the manage area, I can determine what are the aging days that I care about here that I want to see. By default, we show 7, but if you want to change that, you can always change that based off of what you determine is appropriate as a practice. Finally, anytime that I hover over any one of these items, collect, post, manage, we show you what all of these default settings are, as well as what the important things that these do. Once I make any changes to my user settings, I can go ahead and click the Save button, and this will save this off going forward. That concludes our high-level overview here of the revenue cycle wheel in the billing summary page.